Penelope and Colin begin blurring the lines between friendship and love. Meanwhile, Queen Charlotte might have finally decided who the Diamond of the First Water will be. In Bridgerton Season 3 Episode 2, Penelope's lessons continued, leaving her desiring Colin more than ever before. While her mother frets over a male heir, Will and Alice Mondrich have their first taste of high society. We have a lot to discuss, so let's not waste another moment. Colin Bridgerton stays true to his word and begins aiding Penelope in finding herself a husband. That is when he is not indulging himself in other pleasures. Colin notices how flustered and nervous Penelope becomes when speaking to eligible gentlemen, struggling to even flirt properly. He decides on a different tactic, which is finding out what makes her feel calm. Penelope confesses that she often felt the calmest and most peaceful when enjoying tea with Eloise at the Bridgerton home. Using Eloise's absence to his advantage, Colin decides to secretly invite Penelope over to his family home. There he attempts to set up a scenario for Penelope, instructing her to simply be honest with her words and thoughts. In doing so, she comments on Colin's eyes before they are interrupted by Eloise's return. To avoid seeing her, Penelope hides in another room, where she finds Colin's coat and journal. She begins to read a very personal, detailed, and dare I say, steamy entry before Colin catches her. In his anger, a candle falls from the table, the glass candlestick shattering and cutting Colin's palm. Penelope tends to it, creating a rather tense and personal moment before she leaves. Her embarrassment doesn't end there, as while she's leaving, she and Eloise spot each other for a brief moment. Oh dear. Penelope and Colin meet again at a party where she apologizes for reading his journal but would like to continue reading it, if he allows it. Colin agrees as long as she speaks to one gentleman at the party. Bridgerton. L2R, Martins M. Hangby as Will Mondrich, Luke Thompson as Benedict Bridgerton in episode 302 of Bridgerton. Cr. Liam Daniels / Netflix copyright 2024 / At the same party, Will and Alice Mondrich arrive. The married couple have recently learned the layout of their new home, which includes separate bedrooms for the husband and wife. Neither are thrilled with the idea of sleeping in separate beds. Alice attempts to wear dresses that don't fit the style to keep traditions alive, but adores the jewelry her late relative left behind. While at the party, Benedict Bridgerton explains to Will that because he and Alice are married, they are free to do as they please. The rules of engagement do not apply to them as they would with unmarried guests. Eloise and Colin travel to the same party together, where she worries about why Penelope is hanging around her brother. He assures Eloise that he's not pursuing Penelope, only helping her find a husband. Eloise notes how dangerous this is but promises not to tell anyone. She then proceeds to break that promise almost immediately while hanging around Cressida and other young ladies. Seriously, Eloise. The party goes as expected, with Queen Charlotte feeling less than pleased about the young ladies trying desperately to get her attention. Both Eloise and Francesca hope to avoid the Queen at all costs, having already shared with the rest of the young women that the Queen still seeks to name the diamond. Although Francesca is well-spoken, she is unable to hold conversation well with a gentleman when the deeper subject of love is brought up. Lady Danbury notes Violet Bridgerton's concerns and takes matters into her own hands. As Queen Charlotte is about to leave, bored and disappointed, Lady Danbury leads her to where Francesca is playing the piano alone. The Queen is so moved that it becomes obvious Francesca could be the diamond of the first water this season. But is that what Francesca wants? Penelope's luck changes when she has an actual, natural, and fun conversation with a gentleman over their shared interest in Lady Whistledown's pamphlets. Colin becomes ecstatic for her, especially after learning that the gentleman wants to see her again. But all of that dies most horrifically when everyone begins gossiping about the secret Eloise let slip. Penelope flees the party disgraced, leaving Colin angered at Eloise. Assuming it was Cressida who spread the secret like wildfire, Eloise scolds her the following day upon reading the next Lady Whistledown pamphlet. However, it was not Cressida but another young lady who spread the information. In the pamphlet, Penelope had no choice but to reveal the truth about her agreement with Colin, accepting her fate as a spinster. Although her mother tries to ease the blow, reminding her that life without a man isn't the worst, she basically reveals that she never believed Penelope would ever marry. Ouch! No wonder she spent all her time with her other daughters, one of whom disliked sex and the other who never even experienced it. Thankfully, by the end of the episode that changes, so maybe an heir is on the way. Will and Alice Mondrich decide to break tradition by sleeping in the same bed together, with the hopes of staying true to themselves while also fitting into high society. Lady Danbury receives a letter that evening and asks her staff to prepare for a guest. I wonder who that will be. But the best part of the entire episode is when Colin visits Penelope that evening, concerned for her. Penelope decides to accept her fate of being a spinster but asks for one thing, for Colin to kiss her. He does so and the two share a gentle yet very romantic kiss, which leaves Colin with a lot of things to think over. Well, it is rather interesting to see Penelope on the receiving end of such gossip, even though it is heartbreaking. Colin's attempts to help her are noble, and one can only hope that after their first shared kiss, he'll begin seeing her in a new light. Although Cressida is taking steps to be less unbearable and cruel, she still has a long way to go before I'm convinced. I do find it slightly ironic that the mothers of unmarried young women feel the need to be cruel to Penelope, calling her a spinster and all. It would be nice for a change for a young lady to throw it back at them, politely of course. Cressida has zero prospects, yet her mother acts as though her daughter married a prince. We can at least thank Cressida for helping Eloise see sense and perhaps inspire her to try to salvage her friendship with Penelope. My biggest concern at the moment is Francesca, who only wants to marry as a way to end the endless parade and pressure. She may be finding herself with many suitors if she is named the Diamond.